got the world sensation, Joe Kallzaghe, beaten in action against Manchester's Bobby Joe Edwards. And this one is scheduled for 8 rounds. Of course, just a couple of weeks ago, we saw Calzaghe bash out Frank Minton in just 85 seconds.
Introducing in the blue corner, wearing the plain white trunks from Manchester, a welcome please for Bobby Joe Edwards. Ladies and gentlemen, his opponent in the red corner, wearing the solid black trunks from Newbridge in Gwent, South Wales. A young man who is, as a professional, undefeated in 9 contests. Will you please welcome Joe Kallzaghe. At today's weight, Edwards scaled 12 stone 10 pound, Kallzaghe 12 stone 2 pounds. Your timekeeper for this contest, Mr. Roy Bicknell, the referee, Mr. John Coyle of Wolverhampton.
So here we go then, 8 3-minute rounds ahead of us, and Joe Kallzaghe so far has never been pushed beyond the 2nd round. Not only can he fight, he's good looking as well. Doesn't it make you sick? 8 rounds ahead of us, Bobby Joe Edwards. Well, he's been a pro for some time now, nearly 4.5 years in fact. And he's not only the brother of Diane Edwards, or better known as the athlete Diane Modal, he's also a cousin of Chris Eubank. So plenty of sporting pedigree in that particular family. So here comes Kallzaghe then, managed by Mickey Duff and Terry Lawless, using a southpaw style. Bobby Joe, he's been around as both an amateur and a professional. He knows the score. And of course, what we need is to get Kallzaghe some rounds under his belt to see how he fares. And Bobby Joe, just the kind of man to really give him that kind of experience. Edwards fought for the Central Area Championship against Michael Gale, lost by a squeak. That was a couple of years ago now. Fought a good men, you know. Ginger Shashabala. Shabalala, I should say. Sounds like you're singing, doesn't it? The Commonwealth champion, Franco Wanyama. And Eddie Smulders, the Dutchman. So plenty of good names there on the record of Bobby Joe Edwards. And I've got a lot of time for Bobby Joe. Of course, he turned professional with the late and lamented... So I'll get back to that. Well, Kallzaghe there, showing a lot of good variety in speed and his punch. And Phil Martin, who Bobby Joe turned pro with, always a very good coach with technique. And Bobby Joe's always had a pretty smart bang on him as well, so Kallzaghe might not want to get too flash here. And of course against Frank Minton. Minton never got a shot in, and I thought the finish was very, very intelligent. He battered Minton and suddenly gave him a bit of space to walk away to his right and cracked in one of the best left uppercuts you'll ever see. Nice body shots there by Kallzaghe, who set a modern record by winning 3 AVA championships consecutively at different weights. Welter, light middle and middleweight. What a talent. 9 wins. Sorry, my apologies. 8 wins as a pro. No, 9 as a pro. All inside the limit. His entire professional career has lasted so far 11 rounds. Not putting much power into his punches there, Kallzaghe, but winning the round by a mile. And there's his father, Enzo. Comes from Newbridge in Gwent, which is of course in South Wales. And Calzaghe was a former schoolboy champion, former NABC champion, did it all. But Bobby Joe was a good amateur as well, you know. ABA Light Heavyweight Championship final on 2 separate occasions. And straight up lost to the same man both times, Tony Wilson, the man who'd gone on to become British Light Heavyweight Champion. Of course, he was one of the participants in that famous incident where his mother hit Stevie McCarthy on top of the head with her shoe. Very glad to say I made that film. Thank you, Mrs. Wilson. So, Joe Calzaghe in the black trunks then scoring beautifully here. Not a great deal of power, but boxing very, very nicely against Bobby Joe Edwards from Manchester. Well, it looks at this point like Calzaghe wants to get a few rounds under his belt. To say he's not putting a great deal of power in his shots. And Bobby Joe, just the kind of man, as I say, capable of giving a young upstart a good workout. But Bobby Joe not able to land too many punches of his own. Calzaghe flitting around this ring like a featherweight. Oh, nice shot there, the right hand by Bobby Joe. And Bobby Joe, of course, used to box for Mancote and Moss Side as an amateur. And again, some nice pure boxing there by Calzaghe. Obviously from Italian descent. Oh, and Bobby Joe, they're very swiftly away from those ropes.
Step back when you're told. Break off then.
Well, this is about the furthest that Calzaghe so far has been as a professional. We've got the countdown now to the end of round 2.
Oh, good shot. Break! Okay, step back.
Referee for this one, John Spoyle. Man of the Year, many times voted by the WBA. And that's a good round again for Calzaghe. And that is, who's that? Oliver Harrison, I think. Former light welterweight from Manchester. I think in the corner there with Bobby Joe. Calzaghe then about to embark on a new experience. This is round 7. Rounds 3, 4, 5 and 6. Almost a replay of the first 2. Bobby Joe still there, defending smartly. Calzaghe, well, using every punch in the book, minus the power a lot of the time, but every now and then striking hard. Well, Bobby Joe now stalking forward, threatening with that right hand. I think he's got a fair punch on it.
Come on, let's get on with it.
Neither man wanted to take the initiative. Referee Coyle taking time out, saying, "Hey, come here." This is a boxing match. Well, it seems to have worked. And of course, a chance there for Bobby Joe to make a big name for himself, beating the unbeaten Joe Calzaghe. And I think it's fair to say that Bobby Joe's career has flagged of late. Lost his last 6 Well, he's won 5 so far. From 14 fights, won 5, lost 9. But so often records are deceptive. As I say, Bobby Joe is mixed in high company.
Top boxing!
And a bit of footwork there, right out of the amateur game for Calzaghe. He stepped back. Well, it's getting slightly untidy now. I think Calzaghe feeling the effects of having gone 6 rounds at a good pace. And, of course, never been this far in his professional career. And, of course, the amateurs are restricted to 3 rounds anyway. So can Bobby Joe Edwards be the first man to take the Welsh wizard the full distance? So Oliver Harrison's got a bit of work to do now to try and rouse Bobby Joe, getting through the 8th and final round. That shouldn't be hard. But it looks like a shutout so far for Calzaghe. Joint manager Terry Lawless supplies the water. Father does the rub down. Mickey Duff provides the advice. Oh, good effort so far by Bobby Joe. Always, of course, gives himself 100%. As we go to the 8th and final round then. And this is a bell that I'm sure Calzaghe is not going to hear too often in his life. Oh, and he left. Oh, good turn there by Edwards.
Right! Stop boxing, come out, come out. Keep on the target. Box, Joe, box, Don't turn your back. Don't turn your back, Edwards.
Referee call there reminding Bobby Joe not to turn his back. Always keep your eye on the opponent. Defend yourself at all times. That's the first rule of boxing. Bobby Joe there using a couple of moves out of his cousin's portfolio. Chris Eubank.
Right!
All big shots now coming in from Calzaghe. But becomes a point, of course, in a fight, and I've said this many times, some of you don't believe me, where it just doesn't hurt anymore.
Stop boxing!
Today's Bobby Joe there just floundering a wee bit. So a minute to go then in this 8th and final round. Joe Calzaghe putting lots of punches together, proving he's as fit as he should be. So just about 30 seconds left then in this one. both men feeling the pace. And it's been a while, I think, since Bobby Joe boxed, in fact. I'm trying to think when it was. In fact, it's only a few months ago, a couple of months ago, in December, in fact, for Eddie Smauders. And it's all over now. Well, that's it. Well, Bobby Joe raises his arms, not because he thinks he won, but he's happy to have gone the full route and extended young Joe Calzaghe, only 22 years of age, remember, what a future he has. And whilst Mike Goodall gets ready to make the announcement, I would like you all, of course, all of you, not only to celebrate one of the greatest wins ever in the British boxing ring, when Nigel Benn beat Gerald McClellan, but also spare thoughts for Gerald, his recovery, and of course his family. And my regards to Anthony Benn and Keith Messiah, two very regular watchers of Eurosport boxing. Nigel's brother, Anthony. I hope everything's okay with the family. So there's Mike Goodall then. Good job he's... in fact, I'm surprised he hasn't mispronounced Calzaghe's name yet, because he often gets foreign fighters' names wrong. Much to the great amusement of me and all my pals. That's a little turn there by Bobby Joe. Cracked in the right to the ribs. And that's a good learning experience for Joe Calzaghe. Probably back on the knockout trail next time we see him, though. And don't forget, we've got primetime boxing special here tomorrow on Eurosport.
At the end of 8, very
live at London's York Hall on Friday.
75.5 points. Joe Calzaghe, 80 points. The winner, Joe Calzaghe.
Well, he won it by the proverbial mile, and unbeaten now in 10 professional contests. And I'm very glad, as I say, Bobby Joe went the full route, and he would have helped the education of this young sensational man. And just imagine in the future, when he's a champion of something or other, you saw him here first. Good night, hope you've enjoyed the show. Don't forget, join us tomorrow night for our primetime boxing special. And 12.